Greetings everyone, please give mode to make sure everything's set on up. Looks like everything's starting to boot on. And of course, once again, the thumbnail didn't upload to YouTube. I've been having an issue with thumbnails. Apparently when I was in my last time mass uploading or scheduling up all the videos, I actually hit the limit of number of thumbnails I can upload per day. Apparently there's a limit to that. It's like close to like over 150. Oh, I will find that out. Either way, looks like everything's booted on up. Time to click the live chat windows. That's all good. Yep, looks like it's all booted on up. Give me another moment to check my other computer. And looks like everything is good to go. So let's go ahead and get started. First, I'll do a replay that was submitted in to me. I don't believe I've casted this one. So, nope, wrong button. I keep on hitting that button because that's the common spot for all the menu buttons in every game barring this one. Granted, this is of course web-based and not, oops. Why did I hit the empty button? It's also, that part's also backwards. Let's go with that. Out the way, let's get started. Greetings everyone, and Great here with another Advanced Wars Days of Ruin Tiny Wars replay. Spawn on the north side as the dark gray Isabella got Midsbitter Bear, I think. Spawn on the south side as the red Brenner got Motimon. Oops, that's the wrong thing there. Let's go ahead and take a look at the COs. This is the unnerfed. The cartridge Isabella, standard boarding cost, 2 radius, 30, 60, 60. Hence why I also do point out what all the COs are every time I start the game, because you never know when you got a custom game like this using the cartridge COs. She does provide the cartridge base of all units plus 20 plus 20. She actually has an inherent plus 10 plus 10 as a description, but she gets also the inherent plus 10 plus 10 for CO zone, combines to a total plus 20 plus 20 to all units are CO zone. Additionally, all units when superpower gets the plus 20 plus 20, the plus 2 range, and of course plus 2 indirect range. So this is the, I think it was like considered like S rank CO from the cartridge. Brenner is the unnerfed one as well, so unnerfed for unnerfed. So does that make it even? Standard boarding cost, 3 radius, 30, 60, 60. All units in his CO zone get plus 10% offense and plus 30% defense. Good counterpart to plus 20 plus 20. And of course, globally, gets plus 3 health regen upon activating the superpower. So, let's go ahead and get started. This is a 3 base map, 1 airport, 1 comm tower, and of course 1 HQ with a gunboat on top of it. Do note gunboats are not hidden from on HQ tiles if I remember correctly. Yep, hideable units, only grounds. The gunboat is reviewed like a battlecopter. Because after all, battlecopters and gunboats are exactly the same thing, right? They both have guns. Oh, then again, the gunboat doesn't actually have guns. They have torpedo tubes. It is a torpedo tube, right? I always assume it's a torpedo tube. I can't remember what the original animation is. I'm sort of second guess myself. Bike infantry. So the first bike has been deployed in the field. He does go ahead and weight his gunboat on top of the HQ. You monster. I also sort of wonder, what's the purpose of this bit of super plasma? Is there I just don't know the real reason why there's super plasma there. Guess it wants to be some sort of blocker to prevent infantry from rushing up this side to the forest, I'm guessing? I have no idea. It must be strategically placed. They just want one specific tile on both sides to be completely impassable, not even infantry. Maybe it's specifically to prevent infantry, rather than trying to use a river to stop any other vehicle or a mountain. So it must be specifically to stop infantry from moving through that tile. And mechs. Infantry, and of course a tank. Just initial capture phase. Right now, 14,000 in terms of maybe battlecopter. Nope, infantry, tank, and recon. Ready to reconnoiter the area. That's a fun word, reconnoiter. Right now, Brenner does a 15,000 income, has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 properties being captured, which will be a pretty good spike. This turn, Isabella has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I think she did capture 7 this turn as well. Looks like Isabella doesn't go ahead and get stuck like a stepsister again. Artillery, infantry, tank, and remember with her superpower, +2 indirect range. Most likely she will be loading herself up into this tank. I doubt it's going to be loaded up into the artillery. The artillery will likely be in auxiliary, and does delete the gunboat there to HQ or CO the tank there next turn, highly likely. Recon, reconnoitering. And there's the CO of the tank. Tank, mech, and anti-air. It's a good idea. Go for the anti-air on the side of the airport. More likely aircraft will show up in this general region. Brenner gets nice 10 easy energies. And there as well, since Brenner, it affects all units rather than just, was it direct ground or just ground vehicles? I can't remember what it is on the nerfed counterpart. Battlecopter, flare, bike, and mech. Brenner's at 24,000 income, Isabella as well. She has a nice amount of resources or units in the field. Does get a bit of damage there, but the extra defense was useful. Artillery here. 20 energy for Brenner. Excuse me. Not to mention the nerf Brenner has only one expansion radius at full 60 energy. And pulling back these 20 units can always be paired up with a CO power, and he's making good progress there. With 3 radius, it can be generated pretty quickly. Battlecopter, artillery, anti-air, and then infantry. T-copter advancing. Recon run. Takes out 1 infantry unit there. Very nice. Give her up to 14 energy at the moment. Brenner's at 23. Mech, battlecopter, and then tank. Up to 30 energy, so gets +1 radius. Brenner is trying to pull back now. So the front line's being established. or really no man land swings out. Burns at 26,000 income, manages to snag both these properties and to try and flip that one as well. Rotates around there so she can get some good energy generation there at the 24 energy. Artillery should probably stick itself behind that mountainside. At least it's on top of the city, it gets a bit of resupply. Flare, mech, tank, and battlecopter. Brenner could pop a superpower this turn. After all, there's a lot of targets in his aura. But not on the advance. Thing as well, with his superpower, he can pop it at the mid or end of turn to get 3 health regeneration of the units that first saw combat. Well, Isabella's more of a CO power you want to pop immediately with the or at the start of the turn, I should say, with the +2 movement range and +2 indirect range, is the key aspect about her. She can easily bridge this no man's land gap. Now we have a rocket as well as a missile here. The missile nodes at forward knows where it's not. And overall, just maintain the front line there. Do not have the rocket on the field as well. Reconning. The missile is right here. Hey, looks like it's going to reach out to the edge of this radius there, so that's a good indicator where the missile will start able to fire. Isabella could push forward a battlecopter in that area. After all, something she should be aware of, since she's building battlecopters this side, she has to be careful anti-airs more will be on this side. Of course, there is anti-air there, out of vision range. This one's on top of a city. That's very unlikely she's going to scout this one out. Her flares over here. And Brenner could start making towards a push towards the HQ. He has only needs a little bit more power charge. And with the extra global defense top of city, and not to mention a bit of health recovery from the CO power, it could give him restore our infantry units up health back up to 10 in order to do a double turn capture of the HQ. Isabella has to be careful about this HQ. She does have artillery in the auxiliary. Rotating her command tanker around. She has a fair number of mechs on the field, which can be +2 movement range for superpower. Follow the spread across the land. Brand's pushing forward with his tank. Does also get a strike there, reveals the city there. Of course, he will not be able to pop his superpower this turn, but he is advancing. He has a superpower available now. Also gets +1 radius there, getting a lot of good hits there. Artillery gets hit. Tank does get struck. It's on top of combat, which means 3 defense stars. Missile isn't a good enough position to provide covering fire from these battlecopters. Not from the left flank, but at least on the right flank here. It's probably best to keep these units in defensive position because it doesn't have much left there, and the infantry can at least be a bit of a roadblock. Battlecopter, tank, bike, and tank. She will not be able to pop her superpower this turn. She's just simply not in range of anything. Deletes the gunboat. Her command tank does not get on top of the HQ. Mech gets a good shot there. She's at +1 radius now. Good shot there, as well as there. Mech, battlecopter, artillery, anti-air. Let's see what Brent does. Does he pop his power immediately, or does he wait until some conflict happen? I can see answer for both. We do have a rocket there. Oh, looks like your 2 comment didn't pop up because probably I forgot to hit this button there. Yep, food for the missiles. Good shot there. So those things going to get some shots in first. Plus his orders are large enough he doesn't have to nearly pop the superpower to get global benefits. Just need an eye for the health regen aspect. Let's get a number of good picks there. Takes out the tank there. With the front lines also collapsing as well, he may want to just pop the superpower to get some good defense. Does pop it there. Not only gets global defense as well as a bit of health regen. The global defense will just help him withstand the counterattack. After all, the front lines are completely merged together, and he has to be careful about Isabella's superpower, she's probably going to pop it immediately. Plus, she needs a +2 movement range. And I'll pop it there. Pops it now. I don't know why, that just seemed a little bit humorous to me. With a +2 movement range, they can go a long way. Like the artillery shot. Flare gets a strike there, mech stacks itself there. Battlecopter counterattacks, tanks on tank. Trying to flip some properties down there. Rocket advances quickly, thanks to the increased movement range. Mech finished off tank. Finished off bike. Tank hits anti-air. Allows more survivability for the battlecopters. The missile's still in range though. There's another infantry unit there. The infantry unit's mech main sprints to the rocket, or the artillery. He's out that infantry unit there. Mech decides to take a shot there on the infantry unit. Not a bad idea. Not a great idea, but not a bad idea. Got a good trade there, so it definitely was a good idea. Ends turn. Missile takes out the battlecopter. Takes out the tank there. Ghost Brand does have to deal with +20 global, but he's getting a lot of good hits there. And actually, what the? He's already has a superpower. You can pop another superpower right now. He should probably pop it. Pops another superpower there. And now he has +3% defense global, not mentioned +10% firepower. He also restored about 10,000 funds of damage, because he was like at 155 something. Tank recon battlecopter. Isabella, she will not be able to pop her superpower this turn since your command tank's too far back. And she hit the resign button. This is Angrade saying, thank you for watching, and on to the next replay. Let's see now. Boop, boop, boop. Nope. That was the right button there. Greetings everyone, Angrade here with another Advanced Wars Days of Ruin Tiny Wars replay. Spawn on the left side as the blue mirror, we got Rodon, or Rondon. Spawn on the right side as the gray field guy, we got Gage. Wait a second, nope. Spawn as the green Gage, we got gray field guy, sorry about that. Gage has been buffed from the cartridge counterpart, has standard boarding cost, 2 radius, 30, 60, 60. All units get +10, +20. All indirect units and naval units get +20% offense as well, making them particularly more effective. And the CO unit himself gets additional 20% offense. So if he loads a CO unit into a indirect unit, he gets additional +50% firepower, +20% defense, along with the +20 for the max out efficiency. But either way, with the CO unit, regardless of getting +20% offense, it will still have at least +30, +20 for, say, a regular tank, which is not a bad idea as well. Plus, his naval units would be just generally good. Perfect for this map, wouldn't it? For the naval units. Mira, of course, is a custom CO, has a 0 boarding cost, so you don't have to care what she gets loaded up into. Has 6 radius, 0 expansion, and 45 energy, so her CO power will be charged incredibly quickly since 6 radius is absurdly large. And not to mention 45 energies also at discount. Has no day-to-day, And for a superpower, just simply get +1 or -1 global damage to your opponent. Nice and simple. This map is a 3-base map. And also 1 airport in the corner, so if you want to build anti-airs, build on the side of your opponent's airport. So far, just infantry, nothing much more to say. There's also a pair of counters here, but if that gets captured, you'll probably have already lost the game, like you just did just now. HQ is a little bit forward, but it is also on the strong side, so not really contestable, honestly. But it is in a position where you can deploy something out and then seal it on the front, on the forward. It is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 tiles away, so if I'm counting that correctly, a tank will be able to move from the base to there in 1 turn. On the weak side of part of the map, you've got quite a bit of defensive terrain here. Force, and remember, in Days of Rid provides 3 defense stars rather than 2. Cities provide 2, all of which are hideable tiles. Now to mention the amount of mountain size here, so this is a good spot for artillery, rockets, and anti-tanks. Now I mentioned there's a couple forests here and more hideable capture properties there as well. So the weak side is very defensible. Recon, infantry. Remember as well, since Mira has 0 boarding costs, you don't have to worry about. The only thing you have to do when it comes to loading up Zero unit is not necessarily the cost of loading it, it's more of what unit you want to make sure it does lose its turn to activate the superpower, and since it charges so quickly and so large, you probably want to go for a unit that you're willing to spend a whole turn just to pop the 1 global damage. So maybe a recon, a flare, infantry, bike, something cheaper actually will still be better even with 0 boarding costs, because you just don't want to lose the turn of those valuable units there. An artillery piece could be a good option. With the amount of roads here, maybe a bike or a recon. A tank is probably the most expensive thing you'd probably do want to load a COO up into. Still get the effect of max out veterancy bonuses, which still be quite nice. Artillery, tank, and infantry. We got our artillery on the weak flank. Various infantry units just charging for capture some properties. 3,000 versus 19,000. She looks like capture 4 properties next turn. Tank rig and sealed tank on the weak side. Mira loads herself up in this command tank and can easily traverse between the 2 flanks with her massive radius. Tank, and flare. Does get trapped. Engage has a good number of artillery now in the field. The rig is interesting. Not sure what the rig's supposed to be used for. Rocket there. Is he going to try to build a temporary airport around here? I am honestly not sure what the rig just seems far too early. Yeah, flare and artillery is out of range of some stuff. Tank missile by Mira. Too early for a missile. Anti-airs is probably the way to go. I understand you trying to lock down stuff that comes out of the airport, but it's probably not a good idea to go for something this early. The missile probably should be placed on one of these cities, or maybe even on this forest. And that's probably optimal coverage, I would say. Anti-air tank. Particularly now with our castle, we know Gage has not gone for any aircraft just yet as well, so the missile's really not a good idea. Good shots there on those units, does spot the artillery. 1 global damage there thanks to her superpower, that's how quickly it charges up. Tank. It's 117,000, Gage starts to serve 81, so he's about a turn behind. Getting some damage there. His CO tank is now very exposed, with no real purpose for that little scouting run. He pushed too far forward, and now he's going to probably be knocked out. Got Mira's tank there, not another tank there. Sure, being ranged artillery, but taking out Gage's tank there would be quite nice, so he could load up inside that rocket next time. Puts around their artillery. Minnesota advancing to a decent position now. And Gage's tank will go down very easily there, and lose another tank there as well. Does get an anti-tank here. At this point in time, maybe best to seal the rocket. It'll be firing miniature nukes. Plus 50% damage in total. This rig should probably just build on a plane style to stay close to the accuracy along this rocket's missile. Possibly. Right now it's building a temporary seaport. Good shots. It built a temporary seaport. Why? A temporary airport has purpose. But he built a temporary seaport. Why? I don't know. He does seal the rocket there, gets nice easy 9 energy. Like, the temporary airport does have value. A temporary seaport does not have value. He's a Greyfield guy, but he's not playing Greyfield. Another bit of global damage there. Right now, this rocket probably needs to aim for one of these cities or over here. Right here could get some good coverage left and right. He does have a flare in the field. Put stuff into cities, just gotta get a bit of repairs. Honestly, some units you should not worry about getting repairs onto them. It'll cost a lot of day-to-day funds, and it may not provide enough value in return. I think. The temporary seaport should still at least provide a hiding spot, right? Oh, now he has a hideable piece of terrain for rockets and indirects, so that's the only real use I can see him building a temporary seaport there as a hiding tile. Or a spotting tile if the opponent moves on top of it. Only provides 1-star defense, equipped same as a plane, so nothing too important. Better than the 0-star, sure, but still. No aircraft in the field, so those missiles so far have not been useful. Treasure's gone for anti-air. Flare, anti-tank, or tank. Gage's rocket is out of range of everything. The rig probably should have moved right here in front of the rocket to be a bit of a meat shield. Because you know that rocket's just too exposed for my liking. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Looks like this tank's out of range though. Rocket Mech Recon. Blues right now just trying to hold this area for rock artillery, and so far it's being successful because opponent's not being aggressive. Mirror right now has 7 energy. Gage has 9. It looks like a Mirror just eyeing to establish a front line there. Yes, the same income. We got one property left in the field that's still despicably neutral. The dead center one. Rocket flare, flare. Heavy number of flares. Not a bad idea. Flares are still pretty decent combat. We got a missile, which there is a battlecopter for to shoot down, but should just still plug on for anti-air. So when it comes to him, at least his superpower can at least increase some indirect range, which could be nice. Another rig on the field. That's not really necessary. He's not losing enough ammo, and a temporary airport is nice and all, but he'll probably need to pull it maybe right here so he can help resupply any aircraft he may eventually build, which he doesn't have any. Most time, even though in days are in, a lot of units have less fuel and ammo, it's still not a huge issue in most situations. We got quadruple recon there, maybe battlecopter to go along with them. Looks like Blue's just trying to spot, go into double flare and triple recon. That's probably a little bit too much scouting. That was go for another rocket, and a mech, and artillery. I suppose the rig can resupply the flare. Recon, rocket, rocket. I have no idea how this game will go. If Gage can somehow squeeze out a superpower that can really help him break the stalemate. Missile. AP, I don't need 2 missiles. Another rig. And a recon. Another missile. So far Gage has pulled out no aircraft. 2 more flares. It's too many spottings. I think, no offense to players, I think that these players just don't know how to be offensive. Like, they've both set up a very good defensive line. The other side does not know how to attack each other and know how to crack this. It's easier said than done. But edging forward with rockets may not be a bad idea. Got another missile by Gage, so now he has, what, 3 missiles? Rocket does strike the artillery. Of course, the larger these formations, the more power charge or the more damage Mirror's data power can do. Another rocket, flare, and bike. more of the AI whaling behavior. That, or to be fair, Days of Ruin's AI played ultra defensively, which makes it not fun, that's for sure. This AI, that AI is first like sort of revealed by like the last mission you fight against the beast of all things, which just really makes no sense. The ultra defensive AI with again versus the beast, that should not be. That's just unfitting. That's at that point in time he couldn't even have any speech. He just growls. Anti-air, anti-air, anti-air. Of course, with our cast vision, we know that there is no aircraft in the field by Gage. Well, right now, Gage has 43 units. Mira has 57. I don't know what the unit cap is on this map. I don't think I have a real way to look that up. That's for the player. That's for chat info. War info. Time limit, banned units, initial units. Max luck 10%. Don't see anything that would say to me what the max unit number is. That does strike the tank there. Number of the flares starting to run low on ammo. This one has one, this one has one, this one has 0, but it's on top of the city. Rig, artillery, artillery. It looks like Gage is going to try to push forward. And I'm feeling this is going to go very poorly. I see a lot of rockets there, which Gage sees none of them. Gets a good shot there. ATR strikes artillery. Recon strikes artillery. I don't think it's going to go well for Gage. I do not think he will be able to get enough power charge next turn. If he gets his superpower, that could be a good way for him to win out the game. But I have a feeling Mira's going to get her superpower at least this turn. Enough targets in front of her. Pops the superpower, so 1 global damage. Hits that rocket there as well. We'll be up to 5 health next turn. That tank goes down. The CO tank gets struck, and again, down to 1% health. Or 1 health. Actually, it is at 1% health. Artillery. Mia right now has 325,000. Gage has 204. Yeah, right now it's not likely he can get his superpower. He has approximately 29 energy in front of him, which is enough to get plus in radius, so you can look at that to get additional 10 right there. So it's real. Well, I suppose the indirects can strike some stuff, get some extra power charge to go. He should probably focus around firing around his CO unit first, see what power charge can get. If it gets too powered, then all the stuff up north can do much better. Gets trapped on the recon of 9 health tank, so that's a pretty big waste there. And Gage just go ahead and resign. This ain't great saying thank you for watching, and on to next replay. That was honestly not a great replay. Wrong button. I think this one's a good one. Let's do this one. Greens have won, and great here with another Advanced Wars Days of Ruin Tiny Wars replay. Spawn on the south side as Blue Will, we got GM667_. Spawn on the north side as the Red Gauge, we got GeneBot13. When it comes to the COs, this is of course the Buff Gauge, has standard boarding cost, 2 radius, 30-60-60. All units get, that's the, never mind. All units get plus 10, plus 20%. All indirect units get additional plus 20% offense, and all CO units get plus 20% offense. Gauge course is unchanged from the cartridge counterpart, has 10% offense and defense, and direct ground units get plus 20% offense. Of course, he provides also plus 2 movement range for his CO power, and I forgot to mention Gauge also provides 2 indirect maximum range, so pretty good counterpart between the two. So, let's go get started. This map does offer a naval port there, so we could see a Gauge battleship to rain some large amount of damage there. It would be a plus, what, 50% firepower CO battleship. And of course, that would be quite expensive. This map does offer a pair of temporary airports you have already captured on the map, which is nice, though not really. It's also a little bit exposed, to say the least. Double bike there. Bike infantry. Will has already moved to the map, trying to catch some of these properties. With the amount of units here, it may be best for the bike just fall back, capture this property there, rather than try to interrupt this one. Oh, goes to the radar station. Did not see that one in range. Tank now upon fielded by Gauge is probably going to CO it. Tank, bike, and infantry. COs that tank now. Right now, this tank has a total of plus 50, plus 40, while this tank here right now has plus 50, plus 30. So very similar between the two. Does end his turn on top of the temporary airport, which only provides 1 defense star. 8-tier artillery infantry. Will has gone for a battle copter last turn. Gets a good first strike there on this tank here. And since it has no support, it just simply received a good first strike. Battle copter advanced way forward on top of the airport. I'm not sure why he ended his turn on top of the temporary airport. Can't get any repairs there, and it was in range of his opponent's tank. Good counterattack there. Right now, Gauge is lacking a counter to that anti-air. He could throw his regular command tank into it and let the battle copter take up the Gauge command tank. It looks like he may just do that. Does do that there. You have 30 energy there. Now 35. Good chance the command tank will go down due to an anti-air then bike shot. Or it could be just trying to shoot down the battlecopter. Tank infantry. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Could have got a shot there onto that tank there, right? Artillery tank. Looks like the battlecopter there to the temporary airport. Artillery, bike, battlecopter, infantry. The right flank, Will has a very good infantry force there, and Gage has a pretty good infantry force over here as well, and not too many of these properties captured. This battlecopter may need to get over here and start engaging. Gage has a nice core of artillery now. It does not advance onto Will's position in the center. Does not take out the bike there. Leaves him down to 8% health. Anti-air, tank, and bike. And it looks like Will's going to send his battlecopter over to the right. Gage sending his battlecopter over to the right. Will can send his battlecopter over here as well. Battlecopter, artillery, and bike with another tank. Drops a capture there. Goes to take out that unit there. Follows it up. It's a unit down there as well. By leaving this 2 infantry unit there, it will be a good meat shield into your tank. Looks like some of these properties now are being captured up as well. I think capture progress remains, so that could be picked off next turn. Looks like Gage is starting to win both the flanks at the moment, while Will's just being a little bit preoccupied in the center. So pull back the units on the right flank. Tank and anti-air move to the war's right as well. Anti-air. And sort of makes advance to the center. Good dispersion there. Now it has a superpower. 1 anti-air in range in the south. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This battlecopter is also in range as well from the other battlecopter. Gage could get some good work done. Merge there. And it's turned top of the temporary airport. Very nice. And he has artillery to help protect that battlecopter, though the artillery itself could be hit struck by a tank. He also has 60 energy, so he could pop a superpower next turn, which could allow this battlecopter to range this ATR to range this battlecopter. Pops a superpower. Tank will strike infantry unit there. Pulls back infantry unit there. Takes out the battlecopter. I thought it was going to be this one, but does hit the other one. 2 infantry unit can get in front of the other tank there. Good, it's there. Gage is the command tank, takes some hits there. Just a bit of damage. Takes the battlecopter now. Make some good progress up north. Battlecopter, tank, infantry. Takes out tank there, merges the command tank. Right now it's up to 50 energy. Even put some machine gun rounds that tank, and more as there. Traps that tank. Tank, anti-air, battlecopter, and bike. North taking some hits there. Here's the battlecopter as well. Looks the tank may be trapped. Does get trapped. Right now, Will's at 26,000 versus 24. And he has more tanks down south than Will. Feels like Will's in a pretty good position at the moment. Gage's tank push right forward. We'll get a good shot there and there. He has enough for his superpower. Does get a good strike there. Tank, bike, and rocket. Takes out the bike there. And it looks like the bikes are heading towards the HQ. As well as avoiding the rocket entirely. Strikes the medium tank there. Medium tank takes another hit. Blows up with 18 energy so far. Tank, battlecopter, infantry, tank. Battlecopter goes down. Takes out that tank there. Finish off that one tank. Takes out another battlecopter there. Has good core of artillery and center, but not popping on superpower just yet. And CO tank does get a couple good strikes over there, up to 30 energy, takes out that one tank now. ATR strikes the artillery. I feel we may see the superpower deploy out this turn. Tank, battlecopter, tank, and base skip. So will Gage go superpower this turn? Pops the superpower. Rocket strikes anti-air, a pretty good distance there. Strikes that infantry there. There's that one. Strike a number of those units there, and takes out the battlecopter. You think finish off that tank there. Rotor tank gets a good shot there in the command tank. Even put some machine gun rounds there. Tank, battlecopter, bike. Will finding evacuate his tank, command tank down south. He has 35 energy, so probably doesn't want to lose that. The anti-air could probably pursue this tank here. It's down to 2% health. I'm pretty sure this 4 health anti-air should be able to get at least 2% damage, especially with a lock roll. Battlecopter blocks away though, so now that anti-air cannot get past that battlecopter, and this one was just out of range there thanks to the wastelands. Good shot there. Merges some of the artillery together. At this rate, he may need to get out anti-tank to go on top of HQ. Puts a regular tank there. Finish off the 6 health tank. tank battlecopter. Though he's actually a little bit vulnerable to regular tanks, so even medium tank would be good on the right flank. Trying to flip that southern property. 6 health tank could merge into the 1 health tank. That's probably a good idea. But if it's coming from me, it's probably a bad idea. He drops that capture there. Anti-air. And it's 135,000 in the field. Gauge starts turn 136, so pretty even. There's one anti-airs there. The rocket's a little bit exposed. Trying to fill the property down south. Medium tank, and bike. Battlecopter does get a good strike there. Though this healthy anti-air will be able to easily shoot it down. That was really not a good sortie there. That rocket was way too exposed. A lot of goodness there. Looks like Gage is losing a bit too many battlecopters. Will's making a great counterattack. Also getting some excellent energy. Has enough for CO power now. Just need to wait till next turn to pop it. And that could be a game-winning push, having +2 movement or range global. This battlecopter there. Artillery strikes some good amount of units there. He's up to 58 energy. He now has his own CO power available. Those tank could receive some hits there. Got a battlecopter and tank nearby with Will's superpower. It's hard to say how it will exactly go. Rocket tank infantry. Pops Will's superpower and finish off Gage's tank there, no problem. Tank. Some strikes up north. Of course, he does have a medium tank, and now 2 rockets up north help stabilize the region. Try to flip that property. He may just seal the tank up north, whether it be on the HQ. It does seal the tank on top of the HQ. It was a max vet tank, so a bit of a loss there. A lot of good hits here in the center. Good strike there. Anti-air, bike, and tank. Will CO tank down south is getting some repairs. And sends it towards the right, just overall just trying to get some repairs going. Strike the artillery. But it's not a good idea to sack a tank to take out an artillery, since artillery are cheaper than tanks. Tank, anti-air. Good strikes there. Gauge up to 37 energy. Does get a good strike there in the max vet tank. ATR is somewhat nearby to pursue that battlecopter. Gauge in turn 134,000. Will is just only ever so slightly behind. Artillery battlecopter. Does get some good hits there. Tank will be up to 3 health next turn. Anti-air could get some good rounds onto that battle copter. Takes out that unit there. Tries to machine gun down the tank a little bit. It is, of course, trapped. The tile above it is, in fact, a river tile. Anti-air, battlecopter, bike. There's a couple more units over there. The anti-air and the tank. Anti-air, infantry, tank, and battlecopter. Right now it's 28,000 versus 24,000. The longer the game goes on, the better we'll be off. Gage has a significant force up north. Gets good shots here, up to 53 energy, very close to his superpower. With 2 rockets in his radius, it's probably very likely we'll get a superpower next turn. In the center, he does have some artillery to work with his superpower. Tank. Good shots there. Medium tank gets another shot on in. Now pick up the battlecopter. Get some hits in the center. Anti-air hits the artillery for 1 point of damage. And looks like Gage will get a superpower next turn because I see this infantry in range, and the rocket should get at least 7 points of damage. Good strike there on the artillery. Anti-air, mech, bike, and battlecopter. 102 damage. Yep, that is enough for the superpower. Does launch attack there. Is it going to go iron superpower just yet? Could get a little bit more damage to some of that stuff in the center, but looks like it's not going to be getting iron for a superpower this turn. Does get some good damage there. Does not take out that bike or tank just yet, but is at least surrounded. Another battlecopter. Tank. Will's trying to flip some properties down south, and Will already has higher income. Gets a number of good hits in the center. Anti-air is just charging way forward. Pretty much Gage has lost everything in the center. He has this significant force. He just needs, Will needs to keep his units away from it, at least the valuable stuff. The rockets just assume +2 range. Tank, T-copter infantry. Alright, flip that property there. And there we go, his superpower is now available. Velocity's not going to deploy just yet. Takes up some of these units. Surrounds Will's tank there. 26 energy. Takes out that battlecopter in the center. A war tank in the middle. You maybe want to stabilize the center of the map of a war tank. So war tank, bike. Will pulls back his command tank. Best to use that 1 HP tank there to draw some fire. I think it will be going down next turn. Takes out another battlecopter. Try to flip some properties there. He needs to get out some more bikes to capture this sector. So maybe an infantry as well to get to the city in the mountainside. We got Duster, bike, infantry, and anti-air. Drops that capture there. This tank will be in range with the superpower. Looks like nothing will be in range with this rocket. Takes out the anti-air. Finish off Will's tank, command tank there. Strikes the mech, finish off the infantry there. Another war tank. This Fall going to try to push in the center with double war tank. He has 9,000 funds left, so maybe a anti-air infantry. Does go for tank infantry. I think he needs an anti-air for the center to deal with all the battlecopters. Sends the Duster over to the west. There's only one battlecopter to shoot down, but can we still strafe the infantry units? And can occasionally do damage to tanks. Use the battlecopter to strike the war tank. Another reason why I said he needs... Yeah, definitely should have gone for an anti-air right here to deal with all this stuff here. Because right now both battlecopters are covering the bridge, so now these war tanks cannot advance. So excellent placement there of those battlecopters. Use the war tank to strike the battlecopter there. That's not great. Saw some outlying units there. Right now, Gage could threaten HQ, has a good number of tanks and infantry there. Duster will cause a bit of issue, and of course, reinforced there can always cause issues. Goes back to this tank, command tank over here. Full fighter. I'd just say just cheap out, go for a Duster, but multiple property captures now, but 30,000 versus 22,000. And these war tanks are just getting ripped apart by these battlecopters. Definitely should have gone for our anti-air, and the mech is on top of the HQ while at it. Anti-air strikes fighter. I think at this point in time, Gage is beat. His force on the right side is strong, but just far too slow. His force on the left side is good, but not fast enough. Fighter and war tanks, another critical part of his force, just got ripped apart by cost-effective counters. Not to mention, he's right now below 8,000, has 8,000 less income. Strikes the T-copter. Rockets rotating into center. Goes for a medium tank, that's a good way to stabilize it. Mech infantry can't be going for anything in the airport. Now can't go for anything in the airport. Both war tanks just get ripped apart by the battlecopter. Still has no anti-air in the center of the map. Tank, bomber. Gage's turn. Hits the anti-air. Takes out the anti-air there. Maybe a Duster could be deployed in the center of the map. There's still, of course, a 6 health anti-air. Does go for anti-air. That's probably a good call. He also probably needs another anti-air over here, but goes for tank. If he has an anti-air, he can help deal with all this stuff here, but right now he's also having trouble versus the tanks as well as the aircraft. The Duster and the bomber as well. Yep. The left flank is going to be crushed. He has no proper counter to all the aircraft once again. Will's getting some great energy charge there. Does save the mech and T-copter. Infantry, battlecopter, tank. Takes out the 3 health battlecopter and does block the road, but the artillery in range of it. He may be able to range the artillery with this rocket if he pops a superpower. Overall, Will's doing a great job avoiding Gage's superpower and its maximum effect. Does strike the anti-air on top of the seaport, which is 3 defense stars. Could have struck the tank on 0 defense stars. Will's now at the 47 power charge. Strikes the rocket there. And Will's now charging forward on multiple flanks. This is time for Gage to pop his superpower. Will's up to 208,000 in the field. Gage is at 123. Decides not to pop the superpower. Fighter. And triple base skip. Will has a super. Will gets superpower this turn. And Gage does resign there. This is Android saying, thank you for watching, and on to the next replay. Before I get started next replay, do you need to use the restroom? Please give me a moment. My apologies, I'm back. That's still wrong button there. Let's see, there's another replay one I have time for 2 more replays for tonight. Nope, that's one of them. Either way, let's go ahead and get started. Greetings everyone, and Great here with another Advanced Wars Daisy Ruin Tiny Wars replay. So on the south side is the blue Lynn, we got Inconspicuous. On the north side is the yellow Isabella, we have a 4 name. Let's go ahead and get started. This map is a double base map, 1 airport. We've got trio cities in the corner, so you will have to use a T-cop to get over there. Both players do also start with a aircraft carrier, which is probably meant just to give access to seaplanes. And Lynn does pull off her aircraft carrier. I think aircraft carrier is a good spotting, right? I can't remember. Or it's just infantry at the moment. There's also a temporary airport on the center of the map which could be useful for seaplanes. Bike deployed in the field. Recon infantry. Lynn could load herself up into the back of the recon. Forgot to mention what ACO does. Oh well. I assume everybody would know at this point in time. You have an early artillery for base skip. War vision is decent, but they can't see anything useful on the map. True. After all, right here gives you 1, 2, 3, and not 4. Speaking about not 4, looks like Lynn does push forward to capture the sector there. Not sector, city. Getting all the games mixed up. This infantry horse got trapped there and does get machine gun bit there. Lynn does load herself up to a tank there, as well as probably be loaded up in this tank as well. You can always deploy a seaplane, load up your unit, CO unit into a seaplane. Artillery advancing. And once again, she does go ahead and get stuck again. T-copter, flare, and base skip on to capture those cities. There's 3 cities there, so it's probably a good idea to get infantry over there as soon as possible. Take a bit of time to capture, but gives you a lot of income. Nice bit of damage there. Recon gets a good strike there as well. Get a nice early 14 energies. Got now mech, battlecopter, and infantry. Battlecopter. Infantry, and battlecopter. Does scout out both these sectors there. It does not spot the artillery, which actually is a critical thing not to spot. It's on top of a forest. And now the command tank is in range of the artillery, but the tank itself is out of vision range at the moment. Nope, it's in vision range. Does artillery have 3 spotting range? I thought artillery only had like 1 spotting range. I must be mistaken. Tank does get a good shot there. The command tank was a little bit too far away to spot it. It was 4 tiles away. Oh well, I must be missing something. Anyway, Lynn does lose her tank there. Does... Oh! Okay, goes for the shot there. Minimizing damage received, but only gets 5 energy. Goes for mech artillery. Sorry, my paranoia. Already went for 1 to 3 on Days Run. Got it. I was like, I thought artillery only has 1 vision range. I always, of course, there's all the differences. I always forget which one's which. My bad. So artillery can now self-spot. You know, I don't really like that change. I think artillery, like indirect units, should have a spotter. And artillery are already pretty cheap, so it shouldn't have self-spotted. They're cheaper than tanks. Mech ain't here. Lynn's starting to pull back a little bit there. Get nice core tanks. Of course, a race pretty smart for superpower. Most of the classic units got a vision buff except the battlecopter. Oh, interesting. I don't know all the visions on top of my head. I just know some units have decent, some units are excellent, and some units are abysmal. Does strike the anti-air there with a CO buffed artillery piece there. And Ruins provides the same defense capability and mobility as planes, but does at least allow for a bit of hiding. Isabella getting 19 entries so far, though right now her flare is out of ammo. We've got a rocket recon. Likely next turn this flare will move on top of this city there, just get a bit of resupply. Does drop an infantry unit there, so both players are going to capture the cities now. Isabella got a nice early head start, has 18,000 income versus 15,000. She does also have these 2 properties in the center. medium tank, and mech. It does go ahead and wait the aircraft carrier, you monster. Infantry does scout out the artillery, which could be knocked out. Lin does take a good swipe at it. Recon gets a good shot there. Only gets... needed one more point of damage. Left this one at 14. This one got left at 5, so neither of them close going down. But this will give her +1 radius. And the +1 radius becomes very important. Now she's very close to getting her superpower. She could deploy a superpower next turn at the current rate. We got a seaplane deployed in the field. Emergency seaplane. And seaplanes are good. 29 energy. 34 inches, so she now has +1 radius. Recon getting shot on up. And Lin's tank there does survive. Which means... And it has 43 energy. If she can just squeeze out enough power charge, she will be able to deploy her superpower for a pretty good counterattack. I think she should either get her superpower. Could go for the bike there first. That'll give her 10 energy, then she just needs 7, which is likely. Captures first, not a bad idea. Interrupts the capture of the column tower, that's very important. I think the tank should have not moved there first. I think she should use the artillery to strike. No, striking this tank there would be a good target for damage-wise. And 56 could have got the more energy there from taking out the bike there. Pulls back her tank, so not going for superpower this turn. Merge and just do a general pullback. Probably a good idea to pull back overall. Recon battlecopter infantry, I think. Instead of going for the recon there, could have gone for a battlecopter tank and get a good amount of force over here. I don't think, and then maybe to our infantry unit there's enough funds left over. Probably wouldn't be. Takes out the mech there. Now the artillery will be likely next. Seaplane advancing. We do now have the superpower. Which of course does improve all units' movement range by 2, right? Just want to make sure, yep, all units, not all ground units, as well as only ground units. It's on turn of 155, Lin's return of 123 with 17,000 in the bank, or 19,000 in the bank. Pulls back her CO unit even further. Does put the infantry units there on the spotters. Does put the artillery there. Anti-air tank. I think she should have gone for an aircraft unit there to break through this area. And as well as just going to take time to capture up properties. It's probably a good call. She's at 19,000 for 17,000, though Lin still needs to capture up these 2 properties here. This property can be interrupted by an infantry unit there. Seaplane's getting low on fuel. There's a temporary airport for it though. And that is a terrain to hide air units. She could push the artillery unit onto this right here, then put the CO unit on top of the HQ, and having the artillery unit in range of this city there could give enough power charge for a superpower. Oh, then again, there is a rocket. So, probably not a good idea to do that. Rocket takes out the unit on top of the mountainside. And the temporary airport is a hiding spot for air and ground, so this medium tank is hidden. Do you have them now rigged on the center on the top of the map? Probably to resupply not only the flare but also the seaplane. Takes out that unit there as well. We'll be in range of the rocket. Of course, the rocket's hidden. Lin does have her superpower available. Bunch of mobile units with able to get some excellent spotting is probably a good way to go to help break through for our counterattack. This tank is not spotted. Flare is out of ammo. Does get spotted by the anti-air. Medium tank anti-air. Isabella probably needs to identify where that rocket is. Puts the rock on top of the temporary seaport, which is a hiding spot. That's probably a good spot for it to cover this area. With also the rough terrain in front of it, it makes it more difficult to reach it. But Lynn probably needs to get a whole bunch of mobile units such as tanks in order to help range this force. A Duster wouldn't be half bad. Recon, medium tank. $19,000 versus 19,000. Income is equal. Trying to flip that property. Got the infantry unit nearby. Maybe we'll get on top of the mountain and shoot down upon it. Lynn's turn. It's the mech. Tank anti-air. Fires off a flare there. Seaplane does get resupplied. It looks like Lynn or Isabel's just front shifting over the right flank, which we may see a seaplane deployed out for emergency response. One of these battlecruisers could be shot down. Does spot the aircraft carrier off the temporary seaport. Bomber. Nothing else. Pops the superpower there. Going to see a mass counter there. Recon spots everything. Mech has 10 capture progress remaining. Picks out a couple more units there. Rocket gets ranged by a tank. Aircraft carrier does not deploy out a seaplane. Of course, right now, Lynn does also have about plus 30 global for pretty much all units. Or at least all ground units. Not a super powerful, well, superpower, but does make Power pull ahead a little bit. 207 versus 195. Bomber nukes the tank there. Just get finished off by infantry unit there. Income still equal. Takes out the top of the comm tower, trying to flip the comm tower. Of course, Lynn has the extra defense this turn, making it. She's able to survive this onslaught. We don't see the superpower just yet for increased movement range, so likely that'll be the following turn. Lynn's CO tank is here, so she probably won't get a superpower or enough power charge, really. Rocket artillery's out of range as well. Looks like the wind tank there. Rocket gets a good strike to the medium tank. Gets out that unit there. T-copter falls back. Could have been loaded up in the aircraft carrier. It's also pretty low on fuel. Good strike there. We're going to see Isabella's superpower this next turn, I'm assuming. Anti-air battlecopter infantry. Does get trapped there, but it was an unloaded T-copter, so that's fine. It was just a recon pass. Takes on the battlecopter there, the +2, another battlecopter gets shot down. Mech falls back. Mech sprints away forward, hits tank. Mech sprints forward, hits tank. Bomber strikes medium tank and nukes in one shot. Takes on another tank there with sprinting mechs. Medium tank hits the artillery, spotting what's on top of the city, which was nothing. Rocket goes down. Seaplane nukes the battlecopter. Infantry gets hit there. And resupply. And infantry unit shoots up the anti-air a little bit. Battlecopter flare infantry. Isabel's down 116 versus 201. Anti-air strikes T-copter. Battlecopter strikes a CO tank. Takes the CO tank there. Mech strikes mech, interrupts the capture. Anti-air could hit the seaplane. Tank strikes medium tank. Medium tank strikes medium tank. Wounded anti-air. Full health anti-air gets a good strike there. Hits that tank there. Gets +1 CO zone now. Helicopter drops him back on. Insert 129 versus 154. Bomber still poses a threat. War tank here. Then Isabel just needs to focus on this anti-air that the bomber has free reign. Though the aircraft carrier does have a defensive weapon that can hit aircraft, if I remember correctly. It's not the missile like in previous Dual Strike. It's just basic machine guns. It's really not that great. Does get a nice resupply there. Does spot the rocket there, who has 2 ammo remaining. Anti-air gets struck there. Finish off the tank there. And the flare gets hit as well. Lynn could CO her war tank next turn. Does seal the war tank and moves forward. Anti-air can strike the bomber if it had an angle on it. That can strike the anti-air next turn. Definitely be a good trade for that. CO tank, battlecraft there. CO war tank gets nuked by the bomber. Takes a T-copter there. Mech strikes anti-air. Tank strikes or rocket. Rocket goes down. War tank gets shot up by anti-air and goes down. And leaving Isabel with 49,000, which half of that is locked away in the aircraft carrier. Actually, place my offhand. Yeah. And does go ahead and resign then. This is Angrade saying, thank you for watching, and on to the next replay. I have time for one more replay tonight. And there's a replay I would like to I just may need to hunt it a little bit. Not that one. I think it was this one then. Yep, this one should be good. Greetings everyone, and Grade here for another Advanced Wars Days of Ruin Tiny Wars replay. Spawn on the north side as the Green Lee, or Gregor, we have Yoshi Rider. Spawn on the south side as a Dark Gray Penny, we got Inconspicuous. Penny, of course, has been buffed from the cartridge counterpart, has standard boarding cost, 3 radius, 30, 60, 60. Buys a nice standard plus 15%. Oh, she actually got slightly nerfed last time I cast her. She has 15% offense, 10% defense, so that has been changed. It used to be plus 15, plus 15. And of course, does still provide the 3 turns of weather and provides a plus 15, plus 10% global. So, slight nerf last time I saw Penny. She was basically an A to S tier CO. Lee, or Gregor, is a custom CO using the Valkyria Chronicles artwork there. Standard boarding cost, 3, 30, 60, 60. Provides a nice simple plus 10, and all units who start their movement range from the CO zone gets additional 1 movement range. And of course for superpower, it makes a nice global plus 2. So let's get started. This map is a 3 base map, 1 airport, 3 seaports, which likely probably even hard even see 1, at most a lander generally. And something to note as well, these are all shores here, so we do have 4 exits from the islands. However, every single exit does have a forest in between, so it's slow for all units to get through, particularly wheeled vehicles, so it'd be 2, 2, and 3. There's also a pair of comm towers here. It's generally secureable by 1 player, but they are contestable. You can rush for them. Looks like Gregor does load himself up to an infantry unit there to prove some mobility. For openers, I have a feeling green probably has a specific opener in mind. Does skip out a base there, not enough monies for it. So next turn, both these infantry units can move forward by 4 rather than by 3. Good job of moving the correct one first. You don't want to move your own unit way out of your seal zone. But now, next turn, 5 infantry units will be able to move forward with an extra tile space. There's probably a precise mathematical positioning for everything. I just don't know what all of them are. That's probably up to the player to probably sort of pre-map it. Lee is definitely one of those COs that probably does change how you start your build or start your mobility or capture order and all that sort. This +1 radius. Nice thing about loading your CO unit into an infantry unit right now with him. An infantry unit, a CO loaded infantry unit is dirt cheap, so you can just delete it later and seal something else if you really need to. But I've seen a lot of players keep the CO'd unit around the back line to near all the bases just to give them one extra tile space to get them moving. Which may help these bikes traverse here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, nope, they can't be pushed across the forest, so that won't help them. But no wait, Recon has 8 movement speed, so it can still at least get to right here. But it could help a Recon move past the forest here, not here, but here as well. You now have Recon and Tank up here. The CO unit could move back towards the tank to get it moved forward quicker, but at least right here, moves it partially forward to keep the tank in range. Number of bikes heading down south with the winter, which Penny or Mr. Bear may summon. Anti-air bike. Early anti-air, it's not a bad idea to go for early anti-air. Great for hitting infantry, and great to protect you from the very early battle copter that you may occasionally see. Though with 3 base maps, it's less likely to see early battle copters. But in this case, with 15,000 funds, going for a 9,000 battle copter leaves 6,000 funds remaining, which means 3 infantry units easily. So this could be a turn for a battle copter. Or double tank. Both players are capturing up the comm tower. T-copter, flare, infantry and infantry. Not only got the seaport in the back, you also got the cities in the south and to the west in order to capture up. T-copter, tank, infantry. So it looks like both players now have the T-copter. Does get trapped and gets shot up a little bit there and finished off there. Does have this infantry unit spotted, not the other one of course. Tank gets a good strike there. Right now Lee has 22,000 versus Penny's 16, so he has a decisive economic advantage. But I do see 4 more properties being captured, so put up at 20,000 versus 22. But thanks to Lee's extra movement, he's able to just get out of the base quicker. Got battlecopter, tank, infantry there. Penny's now on the center of the map, getting as much power charge as possible. Has 19 power charge already. Either A, pull these units back, or B, just delete them. Because right now, you don't want to give Penny a chain of weather. When Penny chains 2 power, she becomes ultra lethal. Infantry, tank, infantry. When it comes to Fog of War maps, I generally say Rain is the weakest, since you're already prepared and have the mindset of fighting Fog of War. And he has gone for a flare. It's definitely a good idea to go for flares, particularly against Penny. Because of reducing vision rain down to 0. That's the only real way you can see stuff in rain. Not to mention, still Fog of War. If Penny never rolls rain, you at least still have a flare in Fog of War, which is still very good. Even a flare out of Fog of War is still pretty nice, just because flares are actually pretty good combatants. The other 2 weathers can be quite nasty. Snow. This map is large, so snow will just slow everything down. And Sandstorm is probably, I think, overall, generally the most dangerous of all the weather, because just minus 30% firepower global is painful. Tank, anti-air tank. He's at 12 energy at the moment. Decides not to do that attack there from the CO zone to get extra energy, but at least scouts out what's beyond the unit there. Battle Company anti-air heading down south. 18 energy versus 33. And there is enough targets in front of Penny to get a CO power. Whether or not she can pull one off is another matter. Nothing to stop to engage the battlecopter. First anti-air is way over here, so those battlecopters might have free reign. So got potentially 21 energy and whatever machine gun shots here, so she likely will not get her CO power this turn. She may get charged up this turn, but other than that, she's probably not going to get her CO power to forward out this turn. Some hits down south, interrupts the capture. Anti-air is going down. And we've got Lee having 2 battlecopters region, which is quite important. I think it's possible for Lee to get +1 radius this turn. 25,000 versus 23,000. And overall, Lee does have a better force down south. Penny tank over here. Penny does have some reinforcing tanks right now. Penny has 23 units versus 31, so Lee's doing much better with infantry on the field at least. No CO power charge there. Got some more power charge there. None there. It's that unit there. 47 energy versus 23. Despicable neutral property will be captured this turn. And Penny can't get a superpower this turn. Generally, I say pop Penny's superpower as soon as you get it. Does not pop it. Maybe going to wait till next turn? Not sure why not. You just want the weather to just be annoying. Any sort of weather right now will be very advantageous to her. Starts capture, flipping the comm tower. And may actually fully get it. Definitely probably a good idea to start trying to get that comm tower. Has a bomber in the field. Wasn't paying attention to that, but now got a bomber. Flare has been built. Tank. Flares have a good idea. Penny may pop her power this turn. Battlecopter, tank, flare. And we got Rain. Probably the one Lee can handle. Has 2 flares in the field. Took some losses there. Interrupts the capture. Lee's command infantry squad's a little far back, so no power charge here for him. Has some of the stuff spotted, knows where some stuff generally is. The flares are in a good position to reveal a lot of that stuff. We'll also spot the bomber, a critical target to spot for the bomber. Duster, tank, and infantry. Flare spots the anti-air, which is very important. Knows not to push for the battlecopters. And down south, this battlecopter's going to rain screen. This anti-air is too far away. Push for the command infantry squad. Tank. Infantry. And tank. And battlecopter. Penny's course now can get some power charge. Let's get the infantry unit there. Battlecopter, anti-air, tank, and infantry. And look how little vision thinks the rain. The flare can spot some stuff, but of course we are shooting in the dark, literally, because not really many conflicts happened up here. Does spot the infantry unit there, we'll take it out. Sees a lot of good targets there. Lost sight of the anti-air, which is very important. Pulls back the infantry unit there. Ion should push forward the battlecopter. If pulled back another tower forward, could have got this tank pushed forward as well. War tank, medium tank, and infantry. 20,000 versus 24,000. Starting to flip some of the properties, these cities. Now Penny's doing the same. Spots the flare. Spots the artillery. And now there's a lot of targets in front of her to get some power charge going. A lot of targets. 39 energy. The rain will not decide next turn, but the next lead turn, but the following Penny turn, it will be gone. So he has to, I say, sack the flare to get some good spot in the area, then and then probably bring the bomber if he's, and hopefully the bomber can do some good damage. It's on top of 3 defense stars. The artillery is out of range of it though. Does spot the anti-air, strikes the command tank. Takes out that tank there, hits the tank there, and manages to take out the tank there. Bomber strikes the anti-air, does a couple hits there. Gunboat established there. Going to try to go for these cities. Trying to flip that city as well. Anti-air strikes Duster, saving the battlecopters a lot of pain. And with a 3 health Duster, he's willing to risk the battlecopters. Nothing else spotted in the area, thanks to rain. Penny has 0 energy since her command tank has gone down. 3 valid targets for a new command tank. This area is probably a good place to generate power charge relatively safely. So I think it's better to seal this tank and push it over here. Oh, and the other anti-air does strike the bomber. 2 of his own battlecopters get struck there. He has 2 of, or 1 anti-air and 1 battlecopter strike the battlecopters. A lot of stuff just went down for Lee up north. Interrupts the capture there. Lee's on 140,000. Penny has 135, so Lee still has more stuff on the field. But that was a pretty big loss of, pretty big losses this turn. And the CO tank does get loaded up here and heading up north. Anti-air tank. drops the infantry unit there, and it's going to be hard for Penny to contest that when there's an infantry unit there. Takes a Duster. Lee's doing much better down south. Hits the anti-air because he has so many battlecopters. Let them stay alive. Up north, he may just need to fall back. Second, hit the battlecopter, not a bad idea. 38 energy, so now it's +1 radius. Anti-air. Pushing for the war tank like that is pretty nice. 5 movement range is far better than 4. Battlecopter anti-air tank and base skip. Gunboat spots that stuff there and also reveals itself. So yeah, just keeping that infantry unit there will deny the capture of the city. I say don't remove that infantry unit there. This city up north may get flipped. 30,000 versus 23,000, so Lee has a superior income by far. And which means he has this chain of cities in the center to provide some forward warning. So as Penny starts pushing forward, she will be spotted. Infantry units inside the forest here just slow down her opponent. So yeah, keeping these cities as a defensive line is probably a good idea. And right now he has a great lead, commanding presence down south, and just start pushing down south is probably best for Lee. Spots a whole lot of nothing there. Battlecopter does get struck there. One does get knocked out. The Lee's trying to lose some presence down south and need some more tanks, but they're pretty far away. Battlecopter bike, infantry bike. Advances to some cities. The war tank is going to be very powerful. He has 1 anti-air, 2 battlecopters up north. And right now it's 38 energy as well, so he could possibly get a good amount of power charge, I would assume. Not necessarily a CO power. But +2 movement global could be very helpful down south. He needs to make a push both north and south. And plus there's a little infantry unit there. Doesn't really matter what that infantry unit does. Right now, the infantry difference is massive, 31 versus 24. Now got another bomber with pair infantry and a tank. Penny's tank down south is going to get some good amount of power charge here. A very good amount of power charge. 32. And with like that, Lee is in trouble down south. He does have a single medium tank, but that can be hit by all these forces. And Penny's going to just be defensive over here. Rocket, tank, and infantry. Those are going to just transition defense up here with a rocket nearby. Could have got some power charge. I think he should have moved forward the infantry in there just to get some power charge going. Every bit matters. But does pull back that unit down south, so maybe it was not I the one to go that direction. Trying to flip some properties, go for more of the eco game. Bombers heading down south, I hope equalize down south. So there's a good chance this medium tank will get hit pretty hard. And there's actually a chance for a superpower next turn by Penny. Got the battlecopters in range, got the medium tank in range, got the infantry and flare. And infantry up here. Yep, there's going to be a Penny superpower next turn. Or this turn. That's not for superpower and Sandstorm. This is why I confused the Deadliest. That's minus 30% firepower global. Artillery, infantry, battlecopter. Now, 3 turns of minus 30% firepower means you basically have a fight against 3 superpowers in a row. This turn is particularly bad since it's also plus 10% defense to go along with it. Maybe one way they can help balance out Penny is, rather than reduce defense slightly, maybe go like plus choice offense, 0 defense as a possibility. You have a rig now pulling the field. So in this case, Lee at least going to have full or standard fog of war vision, so he doesn't have to play around bad vision this time around. And since the gunboat was not next to that property, it can't. This property sector can or city can't start be capturing. So we got a battlecopter nearby to hit that gunboat. So. Not getting power charge there. Could have done a little bit better of trying to get power charge, I believe. Oh, it did go up north. Battlecopter went way over here. I'm not sure why. Good kills there. Up to 32 energy. 42 energy. She's starting to chain her weather together. And this is only turn 1. Or no, this is start of turn 2. Turn 2, so Lee will have one more turn of Sandstorm after this. He saw that tank there. Took 9% damage. Does get trapped. And does have enough for his own superpower. And 10 plus 10% global could help him equalize out the Sandstorm. I mentioned the extra range, get a lot of first strikes, help him out as well. Battlecopter strikes regular tank there, and does spot Penny's command tank there, gets some good shots into it, but there's a good chance that she will get enough power charges turned for another superpower for the following. You have a Penny bomber, triple tank, and a battlecopter, 31,000 for 24,000 still. It's the battlecopter there. And puts T-Copter there to stop the drop-off. This extra income pretty much was keeping Lee in the game for the most part. Though he's been doing quite well. Penny's chain weather is devastating. Battlecopter strikes Battlecopter. Hits the medium tank there, and hits the medium tank again. While the valuable aircraft is starting to get shot down. He's down 166 for 155. Penny's evening out this game, evening out this turn. Took a lot of hits there. His CO unit's also getting a little bit tired, needs some more burgers. Drops the infantry there and realizes like I'm not going to capture those seats currently. Pops the superpower, so +2 move global. Let's see how well this does. 2 health. Takes up 5 health. It's the bike. It's the bike again. It's the anti-air. It's the infantry. Nukes sack zone tank there. Does get trapped there. Penny will have enough for another sandstorm or another weather. I wonder what Mr. Bear was summoned this time. Battlecopter, anti-air, tank. And what weather is this time? More rain. And this time, there's still a flare on the field, but it's out of position. Those with the front lines smashing together, the lack of vision's not going to be too terrible. But the thing is, a lot of this stuff's just going to start dying. Yep, everything starts dying, and now Lee's gonna have no vision. Another bomber. He still has an income advantage. Artillery, infantry. Right now, I don't know if artillery is the best call. I think regular tanks would be a bit better. Right now, Penny, look at this core of tanks. Look, 4 of them are max vet. That is quite insane, actually. There's a 5th max vet tank there as well. I haven't realized how much veterancy these things got. Does spot the medium tank. And with the lack of vision, I don't think a single one of... the only unit that's currently spotted right now is this one here. I think every other unit is not in vision. So she's just going to advance slowly, use the range as cover. Tank anti-air. Yeah, does have this bike spotted because it's on top of the city there. Flyer miss, so only has 2 units spotted right now. Rain's still painful. Thanksgiving in the air, yep. Though, I do know that one thing, that this replay will probably be released after Thanksgiving, based on the amount of replays I have stored on up. Tank, anti-air, battlecopter. That takes him like move quicker than normal. I don't know why, it just looked like it zipped across the screen. Let's see. Lee is at 181, and he's at 225. Of course, he still has 30,000 day-to-day income, so 5,000 income advantage. And that war tank can be shot down. Does have an anti-air nearby. Penny just has an elite core of tanks. She has 35 energy. And the CO tank is spotted, so Lee can play around the CO tank, not donate any power charge, and just wait till the rain dies down. The rain has now died down, revealing all those core tanks around those cities. Pulls back the tanks now. War tank's on top of wood, so it has 3 defense stars. Battlecopter circled the war tank. Hits the flare there. Bike takes out the flare. Tank, anti-air tank. Does get trapped there. Anti-air takeouts gets a good shot there. The woods provide a lot of extra defense, not to mention the aura. Lee right now is at 0 energy. Penny's definitely going to pull out another superpower the next turn. Lee's just charging. A lot of tanks there. Gets the ATR for a bit of damage. I don't know how this is going to go. It feels like Lee's is in not a great position. All these units are smashing together, and yeah, I just don't feel like this is going to go great for Lee. Does get trapped there. Gunboat survives. Keep the infantry weighted there and let it load up next turn as it gets up the back of the 10. Battle Copter strikes Battlecopter. And there's the CO power available. No CO power to pull it out this turn, but all of Lee's stuff is just getting nuked. Down to 117 versus 122. He dropped almost 100,000 value this turn. Tank anti-air. I don't think there's any way Lee can come back now. Definitely get some shots in, but Penny still has a good elite core of vehicles. To the point where it's a cast level of veterancy. Either way, Lee has resigned. This is Angrade saying thank you for watching, and on to the next replay. As mentioned beforehand, that shall be my last replay for tonight. So everyone,